Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, CL Anthony, my main man, Bryce Ward, and my two favorite co-hosts in the world, Michael Franz and Chef Pat. What's going on, fellas?
What up? What up?
You're.
Good morning.
I don't know about Pat.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
That's what he's waiting to hear. That's what he's waiting to hear from Lemon Daddy. He's back.
I
I think he's still out like another 2 weeks, right?
Something like that.
That's
we
rough.
need you, bro. Come on, come back. We need you, bro.
Might be too
hurting without you.
So we had some shit happen this week. Trae Young finally got traded. I want to say something before I dig into this. For anyone who said that Atlanta didn't get enough, they're idiots and they don't know basketball. Atlanta was simply trying to get rid of his contract, clear cap space, which they did, upwards of $40 million going into the offseason. And they still added a little bit of shooting to replace Trae Young and also another trade chip. Lord, I can't talk today. And CJ McCollum. So, Bryce, what do you think about this trade?
I think the writing was on the wall for Atlanta once Trae went out and they started winning more games. It seemed like it was a kind of like test year this last year with Trae. It's like it seemed like they were more open to trading him if things didn't go perfect, and things definitely didn't go perfect. They caught fire a couple times, like they've been tough, but I don't think they were getting the results they were expecting even when Trae was healthy. So I think it's just, I mean, we saw a bit of it when they couldn't get a deal done before the season, I believe, right? To re-sign. So
An extension, yeah.
Everybody kind of thought maybe it was finally time. I think with the way the season had been going so far and how good Jalen Johnson's been without Trae, I think it was just time. It just feels like that. Felt like it was maybe time a season or two ago, and it dragged on longer than it needed to. I was surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised with Trae. I mean, I'm not like a fanboy, but from afar, it seemed like he chose money over a ring destination because there's not really a good reason to want to go to Washington, even if you're from there. I imagine so. Um, I'm just glad it happened. I hate when this stuff lingers on forever and ever. Like the Giannis situation's gonna. So I'm just happy to see it finally go down. I think this makes Atlanta better for sure. I think McCollum's a better fit to fit into the offense instead of being a standout, and probably just isn't quite of defensive liability as Trae. Even if both don't try on defense that much, the size difference alone is just enough for Trae to always be a problem. So I like the trade for Atlanta for some reason. Also, they really wanted Kidspert, whatever his name is, and they got him as well. So it seemed like Atlanta got everything they wanted in this deal, and I'm with Cam. I don't think they could have gotten a much better offer. Maybe a couple of seasons ago you could have gotten more for Trae, but I don't think as much right now. So good for Atlanta.
Pat?
Oh, everything Bryce said was very insightful. My biggest takeaway from that, because I don't know all the particulars of the business and what happened in the trade, I really didn't care. But B. Rice made a good point about him taking the money over, potential success in his later years of his career. That was my biggest takeaway. Atlanta's going to be fine without him getting a veteran player like McCollum and their young star who could be an all-star this year. So I think it was mutually beneficial for both sides involved during this trade. I'm a Trae fanboy.
Oh,
So all this hate, I don't know where the disconnect is. There's a narrative out here in the basketball world about Trae Young. So I don't know, man. I wish him the best. I don't know how much success he will have playing for a trash ass organization like the Wizards. But I was hoping that he was coming to LA. Figure out some kind of way as an delusional Laker fan. That I am. But man, yeah, Trey, bro, he got that money, or he's gonna get that money. And I just wish you the best, bro. That's all I really have to say about that.
Mike, I'm gonna throw it to you in 1 second. Pat, so the narrative that Trey Young is a cocky little shit that doesn't contribute to winning, is that
that
false
one.
narrative or a real narrative?
I don't know, man. Fans and media tend to create narratives about certain players in the league. James Harden had that.
He still has it.
And probably still does, right?
He still has it, but it's based in fact.
Paul George has a narrative. KD has a narrative.
Based in fact.
LeBron James, right.
Their team all NBA can't win on their own. That's what I call this guy.
So I'm not a bandwagon. I'm not going to jump on the slander. I see people for who they are, or I try to at least. I'm not a hater like Cam, Hardwood Nation. Cam is a hater, a certified hater.
No, I'm a truth teller. No,
LeBron, whoa, LeBron James. I forgot. Let's talk about LeBron.
Hey, when Cam heard that Kendrick song saying "I'm the biggest hater," that Cam was like, "Oh, I can just own up to this now. Just listen to this song over and over."
No, I'm a truth teller like Skip Bayless. Mike, what do you think about this trade with Trey Young?
Skip Bayless. That's crazy.
So, the only reason I feel like, because Trey Young wanted to go to Washington, and there's a link, and it's the guy who drafted or who moved him from, what was it? Dallas. Yeah, Travis Schlenk, who's the player personnel for Washington. He's the link that brought him to Washington. But other than that, and I think that Trey kind of sees a team being formed over there with Alex Sarr, but they've got a long way to go. So you can't be about winning, especially because of the narrative. Because he's not going to be able to be that guy. Like, he'll put butts in the seats, and he'll sell tickets, and he'll sell jerseys, but they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So to have that one link, to me, that's like the only reason as to why he wanted to go to Washington, because he has to go to Washington, and so, it is what it is. We saw the first major move of the season with him. He's finally moved. It'll be interesting with the rest of the dominoes for the rest of the big names coming up here, but hey, if Trey Young wanted to go to Washington, it's a win-win either way, because at least now, there's nobody to blame but yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look in the mirror. If you don't win, bro, you need to look in the mirror, because you chose to go here. They got you the destination you wanted, so not much to it. To me, it's not really a big splash, because it's not like a cornerstone piece that was missing to get to the chip, but hey, that's where we wanted to go. It's all good.
So we touched on it, but we didn't go deep on it. So the fact that Washington was the only team that's willing to give Trey Young the max extension, like, are we afraid to mention this? Like, what's going on? Well, okay, that's the driving force.
The second Abrams really got teams scared.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes. which also is leading to the perception that teams aren't getting enough with these trades. It's all due to the second Abrams. But again, Trey Young's going to Washington. There is that front office connection, but Trey Young's going to Washington because they're the only ones that's going to pay him.
Well, it's probably because of that. Like, it's probably because of that connection that they're like, okay, cool, yeah, I want. Travis wanted him so badly that he traded for him for Luka Doncic at the draft. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
at that point, it's kind of like that's his buddy. He's gonna get him whatever he wants.
Yeah, I can't fault anyone for taking comfort and more money. I can't fault anyone for that.
Right.
But I also at the same time can't take you serious if you ever come on television again saying you're trying to win a championship. I can't take you serious at that point. So
Yeah, not going to the Wizards. Hell no.
right. That's just where I'm at with Trae Young. So, and we're gonna get to Giannis. We're gonna get there.
I'm sure we will.
There's some strife going on in Charlotte. Okay. I when I saw that they benched
Melo,
Yeah.
for no apparent reason other than him and the coach aren't getting along right now.
Did you see LaMelo's explanation?
What was it?
LaMelo said because to get ahead on the minutes on the second night of a back-to-back, so he was going to play less and come off the bench the first game in preparation for the back-to-back. Even though, how old's LaMelo?
He's like 25.
22. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a pretty lame excuse, but that's what I saw he said.
Oh, it's bullshit. Because if that's the case, you still start him and limit his minutes. I mean, it's absolute.
Yeah, either way.
That's what he said.
So there's some behind the scenes stuff going on there. Pat,
Yes.
what are the chances that LaMelo Ball gets traded this year?
It's highly likely. Ja Morant, LaMelo, Trae Young, two other people who have a narrative in the league. All this slander because people don't like their personalities. Anyway, yeah, it's probably likely that he's got up out of there, man. They're not winning with him. He's probably not happy playing in Charlotte. Combination of things, but his star is too bright for that trash ass organization. So he need a bigger market. Leave, bro. Leave and have access to all the things that come with playing in the better market. Fuck them. Okay. all these reports about, conflict with coaches and you not being a team player. These are things people create. Like, we don't know nothing about what's going on, but I can judge you by what you do on the court, and I know you're a good player. So fuck all that, bro. You've worn out your welcome. It's time to go, bro.
Would you trade Lemon Daddy for Melo?
Shit.
It would have to be at least that.
We like doing business. We like doing business with the Hornets,
My thing would be fit. It's like Luke. I imagine Luka can kind of play with anybody, but with him and James, you got a lot on the ball already. You're gonna put another point guard out there. It just seems like a weird fit.
I haven't seen enough of Austin Reeves with the other two guys we have. Right. I don't think it would work. Yeah,
I was just throwing something out there. I was just throwing a suggestion out there to needle you a little bit. Mike,
does LaMelo get traded? No.
Really?
No. Yeah, I don't think he gets traded. No. I mean, it's like conflict. It's to me, it's just not only just a slight conflict. He doesn't get benched. So I can't see that happening before the trade deadline. That would be one of the ones that surprised me more than anything, because a lot of these guys, like the rumors for Trae Young have been swirling for a minute. The rumors for Ja Morant have been swirling for a minute, and that's not. And as far as Ja Morant, that's not necessarily due to. I mean, it is partially attitude, but it's also his actions. His actions have got him suspended more often than anything, So it's like, what's going to end up happening with him? He needs out of Memphis. Period. But I don't know. I don't necessarily see the conflict arising so strongly right now within Charlotte that they traded this year. The trade deadline is literally right around the corner. We got 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
3 weeks.
So, to have that come up right now, this late before the trade deadline, it's got to be a super significant situation where there's a problem. And granted, there might be attitude narrative for LaMelo Ball, but I don't think it's strong enough for him to be traded this year. Maybe either in the offseason or before next trade deadline next year, but right now, no.
What was the reason the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic?
Too many beers.
I think that's still up in the air as conversation, like because that was the biggest trade that we've seen in a long time. So
There wasn't any like serious conflict there,
No.
was it? They just called him fat.
no, but there was other things that went on the business side, talking about moving him to free up money to be able to move to like get them out of Dallas to move them to Vegas at one point. That was
Also, I don't feel comfortable using the most boneheaded play or trade in NBA history as evidence that anything else should go on, because I think if anybody else is in Dallas, there's not a guy alive that makes that trade outside of Nico, and he got fired. So
he was a scapegoat for that whole situation. So
my point is that they don't really need too much to trade you, bro. I mean, we have
there doesn't have to be a lot of
recent evidence. Yeah, like
when you're the center of the whole team, though, and like in granted, if you want to talk about Trae Young was the center of Atlanta, right? But they started showing that they could win without him, and not just that, but that, like I said, that conversation of Trae being traded had been swirling for the past 2-3 years. So in that case, like we haven't heard anything about LaMelo wanting out of Charlotte for one, Charlotte wanting to trade him two, or any team even making any offers. Like none of that's really come up. So for me, to me, whatever's happening is kind of just noise for the rest of this season.
Well, what it is that there is a beef between him and the coach, but Melo's not a dick. That makes sense. So we can use Jimmy Butler as an example. When Jimmy's not happy, he's a dick and makes everyone else around him uncomfortable, which expedites certain moves. Okay, so Melo's not that. So yeah, him and coach are bumping heads right now, but he's not causing such a big distraction to where they have to get him out of here today. I still think he's getting traded before the trade deadline, but he's not causing a headache like other players have, a la Jimmy Butler in the past. Ja Morant. I'm gonna throw this one to Pat first, and these narratives. So, you think it's over, Pat, for Ja Morant in Memphis?
Yes, he's worn out his welcome there. Earlier in the season, it was very open what was going on between him and the coaching staff. Yeah. He hasn't made it easier for himself with his antics off the court and on the court. But Ja, the buzz and the rumors that are going around is that they don't want him there either. Mm-hmm. But they need him there because they're not gonna win shit. So, but they need them ticket sales and them jersey sales for sure. To get rid of a superstar like him, that's ridiculous. They should have tried anything they could to keep Ja Morant in Memphis. But personalities clash, whatever, man. They need to get out of that like old school mentality of this is the way things should be, bro. You gotta. It's a new day, bro. So Ja gonna move. He gonna move on, and he gonna find a place that accept him. They talking about him going to Minnesota with Anthony Edwards. That would be crazy, bro.
You sure you want to?
I don't think they can afford him.
Ja's gonna end up in Miami.
Him in Miami would be crazy.
I don't think that even happens, Bryce. I was reading an article that was talking about Ja going to Phoenix and teaming him up with Dylan Brooks again and putting him as a point guard for Devin Booker.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I won't be mad at that.
When's Phoenix gonna learn not to do these things, man?
Well, they would probably have to move Jalen Green and a couple other players, of course, because you got too many guards on that point. Plus, Jalen Green hasn't even played really this year, but a handful of games. So you move
I see Ja and Anthony Davis getting moved before I see, unfortunately, Giannis or LaMelo getting moved, and not because the Giannis thing hasn't. Well, I know we'll get to that. Hasn't come to an end too, but like it seems like both teams are out on those guys, and not so much maybe LaMelo. I think is still young enough and still looks prolific enough to where you don't get rid of him. You maybe get rid of the coach first. And it's not like, what are you holding on to by holding on to the coach? What record are you holding on to? Or what identity are you holding on to? So that makes more sense to me than LaMelo getting traded. But the feeling in Memphis is like, what are you holding on to? It seems like it's time for a full rebuild, and if both guys are out on both the team and the players out in the situation, it seems like a no-brainer. The same with Anthony Davis, and not like Davis has been saying that he's out on the Mavs, but they definitely seem aggressive in trying to ship him. So those two, to me, seem like the no-brainers that are going to happen, and then the Giannis LaMelo situations I feel are very more or less likely, especially LaMelo. I don't see LaMelo getting moved yet, not even close. But the others, I think Ja gets moved for sure.
No one's trading for Anthony Davis right now. If any GM accepts that trade,
I'm not saying I would trade for him. I'm saying the Mavs want him gone for a number of reasons. I get it.
Yeah, but someone has to accept it, though. Someone has to accept it. They just can't manage him without someone else saying yes.
Atlanta wants Anthony Davis, so I think he gets moved there in the offseason.
They better not give up any assets for that. Outside of Porzingis, like no one else.
Well, it's Porzingis and somebody else because Porzingis has, I think, an expired contract.
My thing is with Ja Morant to Minnesota. If people can't see the red flags with them two off the court, on the court, great.
It's gonna be like Night of the Roxbury's with them two. Can you imagine?
Off the court.
Bro, I swear I might become a Timberwolves fan, bro. If Ja go to Minnesota, bro, oh my god, it's gonna be lit.
I think the Grizzlies holding on to Ja Morant is just holding him hostage. Period. That's all it is.
We can say the same thing about Milwaukee, though. And Bryce, just to touch on.
But Ja is not what he was just 2-3 seasons. I mean, Ja's game, at least visually on the court, it could be team fit, it could be buying in, it could be effort. I get all those things. It doesn't look like he has it quite the same way he did a few seasons ago. And so, I mean, like, I would be hesitant to trade for Ja, especially if I already had a main ball handler like a Anthony Edwards. Like, Ja needs to go somewhere where I don't think he's sharing the ball because he's not a good spot-up shooter. He's not like he's playing this great team basketball where he's good off the ball. He needs the ball in his hands.
Memphis changed the offense to take the ball out of his hands, and that's where the big conflict is at right now between them. He wants the ball in his hands, and Memphis is saying no. To touch on LaMelo, it's all, and I'm playing devil's advocate today. It's always easy to say, let's get rid of the coach. But at the point that you've gone through 3 coaches, now you get what I'm saying? Like if it's your first coaching issue, fine, I get it. Melo's on like coach 3 or 4 at this point. So it's kind of like Trae Young in Atlanta when they kept bringing in players to play alongside him and they still wasn't getting results. So now they finally moved Trae Young. So I think as exhausting as Ja Morant and Memphis is, I think Charlotte and LaMelo has gotten to that point too. Because what is he going to do to elevate his game right now? You can bring in another coach, but what is LaMelo going to do to elevate his game to make that team better? So that's a question that people has to ask themselves. Giannis.
I'm tired of having this conversation every season.
So we saw what happened with Kevin Garnett when people were begging him to leave Minnesota, and he finally left Minnesota. We saw it happen with We saw it happen with Dame. When Dame finally was sick of Portland and left Portland.
And then went right back.
Yeah. So
when given the choice, went right.
So Giannis has been doing this back and forth for years. And then this week again, here he comes. Well, I don't want to leave. If I leave, it's because they traded me. At some point, he has to grow a spine and be like, look, I'm not happy here. We're not winning here. We're capped out. There's no other move that you can make outside of a desperation move for us to be contenders. Mike, what do you think is going to happen with Giannis?
I think I don't know. I think he stays through the rest of this year. I don't think he gets traded by the trade deadline. If he's really kind of staying true to the, if they trade me, it's because they traded me. It's not because I wanted to move type thing. I was literally looking at some trade scenarios, and they're talking about possibly bringing in Michael Porter Jr., getting rid of Kyle Kuzma. It's like a 3-team deal. So if they bring in a shooter, you know what I mean? Like, the unfortunate side is he doesn't have – it's literally just him over there. He ran through Dame Lillard. He ran through – like, Kyle Kuzma's not really doing much over there. Chris Middleton's not doing – he was second fiddle before he got moved. So I don't know. Like, it kind of raises the question to me, like, what's really the problem if you're running through all these co-stars? You know what I mean? Granted, Dame Lillard tore his Achilles and whatnot, but I don't know. It's interesting to me. I think he's also one, like, if he gets moved, it'll be in the offseason more than anything. You don't have, for a star like Giannis, unless talks have been in the works over the past couple months, I don't think you can move him for a good enough deal within the next couple weeks, because it's been wishy-washy. It's been back and forth, etc. I mean, I remember seeing when he sat down on the floor and, like, gave up because it ended up turning into an injury, but people were like, look, is Giannis getting up at this point? Like, that was kind of the thing that was going around because he just literally, I think he pulled his hammy and just sat down on the ground. So they're like, is this the beginning of the end? That was like 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see every single move that gets scrutinized as far as, like, are they going to move him? Are they going to move him? But when you're talking about a star like Giannis, that package, you need some time to work on that. And that's an offseason move for me.
They've had talks with Chicago. Chicago said no because we know he's not going to re-sign with us. New York was trying to get in there, but Milwaukee said no because Milwaukee didn't want Cat. Miami and Milwaukee are still talking. So there's things on the table that's been worked on. Well, talked about. If Milwaukee goes out and get Michael Porter Jr., that's going to make their cap situation 10 times worse than what it is right now. Like, there's literally no move that they can make that they're going to benefit from as far as trading Giannis, but holding on to him is just wasting his prime years. Right. Pat, what do you think the move is for Milwaukee and Giannis?
Is Giannis still in his prime? How old is Giannis?
Yeah, hell yeah, he's still in his prime for another couple of years.
The difference between Giannis and KG is Giannis won a ring already.
Right.
So that's a little extra motivation, or he doesn't want to leave the team to chase a ring or to get to that next level. He's already been there. And he's heavily invested in the team.
So why is he so unhappy? And every year
because he wants to win. That's why.
Okay.
That's the type of person Giannis is.
He's not unhappy. He's fine there. He's not asking for a trade. What are you talking about?
He has. No. Now that bullshit we're not going to do.
That's the narrative.
No.
Parents are arguing, guys.
Every other year,
Mom and Dad are arguing.
Giannis has asked for a trade every year. I don't care what narrative you've heard said. Giannis has asked for a trade.
Never officially asked for a trade.
The year he won the championship, that offseason, he was gone and he decided to stay. I'm not here to protect players and talk about false narratives and shit. I talk about facts. The motherfucker.
He's big, bro.
The dude's not happy there, so I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat shit. I'm not gonna be fake.
Okay, but also every other time you're like, speak with your chest. All right, if he's too pussy to get out there and say I want a trade gone, then you get left where you don't want to be. I'm sorry. If you're MVP, you're an NBA champion, you're all these things, you're the leader of the team, then get out there and say what you want and stop being a little bitch about it. If you want gone, you're gone.
Everything you just said is 1,000% accurate, and I applaud you for that, for saying it with your chest like I said it with mine. So stand on business like I do. All right.
Spicy.
I'm not here to protect anybody. What I'm saying is that the motherfucker won't out. You won't hear me say, "Oh, well, he shouldn't say he wants out if he doesn't." No, if he wants out, leave. We know he wants out.
Yeah.
That's why this shit is so exhausting with him in particular, because we've gone through this every goddamn year.
So is he?
So he deserves to stay there, just like he's been staying there.
Is he protecting an image for himself?
Yes. And the same thing that Dame was doing, and the same thing that KG was doing for so long. You try to protect your image, you try to protect the team, and at the end of the day, the team will always fuck you over.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with Dame. They will fuck you over, and then he went crawling back. Okay.
They won't even give you the courtesy of a fucking reach around, Cap.
so I'm just saying, it's like, so for example, Trae Young got to the point where he wanted to go. He saw the writing on the wall. He said, okay, since this is gonna happen, since y'all moving on without me, this is where I want to go. That's all you got to do. So that's the most frustrating part with Giannis. I'm not blaming Milwaukee at all. No, I'm not blaming them. But that motherfucker need to speak up, because I'm sick of talking about the shit. You get what I'm saying? But we have to talk about it because it's a topic, and the motherfucker came out 2 days ago. Oh, well, I'm never going to ask for a trade. You see what
I think Giannis, I think when he sees stuff like this, he just sit back and laugh at y'all. Like,
I mean,
I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Bro,
That's
he just
fine.
want to.
But it's content.
It's a narrative. No, I'm not judging you, bro. What I'm saying is that these are narratives we create. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what he wants.
If
he wanted to go,
I ain't even with that though. That narrative shit, that shit with Ja Morant, that wasn't a narrative. He did the shit. The shit with Trae Young being a cocky asshole. That's not a narrative. He is a cocky asshole. So I'm not buying into the narrative right now, shit. Bro. No, I'm just saying I'm not buying into the narrative shit. If Giannis was truly happy in Milwaukee, we wouldn't be having this conversation every year. Period.
He wants to win, bro.
Okay, so what is he gonna do then? Because he's not winning there. So what you gonna do? He won a championship 4 years ago.
Yep.
4 years ago.
Pull, bro.
Maybe this is just his way of trying to keep the franchise honest. Maybe it's his way of trying to. Not that. Listen, from an outside perspective, you can sit there and be like, Milwaukee doesn't have any good moves available. That doesn't mean that Giannis doesn't want them to try to do everything possible. And so far, everything has been desperate and nothing has worked. Yeah. But the Dame Lillard trade was an attempt. I'm just saying it could be Giannis's attempt to get what he wants and staying there, and also putting pressure on the franchise to continue.
They have tried everything possible. They are in cap hell because they've been trying everything possible. They might be desperate enough to do it. And Ja Morant, and Michael Porter Jr., and who the fuck else they can get to pair with Giannis, and then 5 years from now they're gonna cut them just like they did with Dame.
In that case, those draft picks are going to become very valuable. Then
they don't even have fucking draft picks right now. It's just like that's what I'm saying. Every fucking move Milwaukee has made to keep him there has backfired.
Yeah,
they've moved in a desperate situation. They've moved from a desperate point of view from the pressure Giannis has put on them, and you could argue they've gotten worse and worse every year. Yeah. Yes. The Chris Middleton and Dame injuries didn't help matters.
Yes. So they're at the point now, you either go left or you go right. Go left, you keep doing what you've been doing, and you keep putting that franchise in shambles because you can't put good pieces around him. Or you get rid of them, blow it up, and start the fuck over. So, for example, Pat, what would you give up for Giannis right now?
Everything.
Next question. So lemon. So wait. So
minus the big Luka, huh? Right, of course.
Yeah, he ain't giving up Luka.
Everything. I am not happy with Luka Doncic.
Oh, come on, pairing him with Giannis. Come on, you're talking about Ja Morant there.
Wait. You ain't happy with Luka?
What?
Luka, crybaby.
Yes.
Man, fuck Luka, bro.
You do that already. Everyone knows that.
Man, I wasn't watching Luka before he came to the Lakers. No, fuck out of here.
Christ. Jesus Christ.
But
Every time he goes
that's
to
what
the
you do
hole.
with LeBron. LeBron, big crybaby too.
Yeah,
LeBron played defense.
when he wants to.
He don't make free throws. And he turned the ball over too much. And we fuck, bro. We are in fucking shambles. Bro, I'm sorry. We're not talking about the Lakers.
So you telling me right now you'll give up Luka and LeBron for Giannis?
You motherfucking right. Lemon Daddy.
He's gonna go from Milwaukee to the West Coast Milwaukee at that point because they're out of cap. They have no draft picks. They have nothing outside of Austin Reeves at that point. You've got to keep both of those guys.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of space.
Me and Cam were doing this exercise the other day, but with the Magic, and I was like, I think I'd give up Paolo for Giannis. Like,
you think so?
Yeah.
Nobody.
You make me feel a little bit better. You make me feel a little bit better trying to get rid of Luka. If I'm being honest.
Man, fuck, I don't care about
There's only 3 guys I'd trade Paolo for: Jokic, Luka, or Giannis.
We are Lakers over here. We don't give a fuck about none of that. Okay, Kawhi Leonard got paid on the side. You don't think we pay motherfuckers on the side? What the fuck y'all talking about? Cap space and draft picks. We don't give a fuck about none of that. Come home.
That's a great segue. That's a great segue.
Look, and then they'll be complaining when all they've got is Austin Reeves and Giannis, and they can't win.
And they have nothing to build around for 8 years.
And then they'll blame DeAndre Ayton again.
Hey, sound like some Laker hater talk. Hey, I've heard this for 45 years of my life. And when I've won 10 championships in that time. So y'all shut y'all ass up.
Mike. So we had another aspiration story this week, and I'll lie if I'd be saying I wasn't waiting for one. I was just like, I need some aspiration shit.
Yeah.
We got into the gym. So the I can't think of the law firm requested to have Pablo bring the documents up there so they could look.
Yeah, the one that the NBA brought in, right?
Yeah. We also found out that through certain connections, Steve Ballmer has lied about how long he knew the owners of Aspiration and things of that nature. What do you take of this last little breakdown?
I think it confirms a lot of shit that we talked about throughout this whole process, and that a lot of the stuff that these guys are talking about, Steve Ballmer going on ESPN, bunch of bullshit. Mm-hmm. That was just literally, I'm hoping that my interview will get this thing shut down a little bit, but we know Pablo Torre, and he's not going to stop until he gets his answers. I got through about 90% of the episode, but it was a lot of confirmation. Mark Cuban out here blowing smoke just like Steve Ballmer. All these guys, like, it's crazy. The thing that kind of grabbed my attention when I thought about it for a second, like, we're already 3 months into this whole thing, right? We've only heard from Adam Silver once. We haven't heard anything from the NBA or no details whatsoever. So, Adam, bro, where are you at? Like, what's going on here? You've had 3 months and this thing is still lingering. Like, are you hoping that this is going to get swept under the rug? Because I'm gonna tell you one thing: Pablo's not gonna let that happen. Pablo's definitely not gonna let that happen. But we've been talking about these things for the full 3 months, and none of it really surprised me that there was shady deals going on. I applaud Pablo for continuing to dig, because he even brought documentation that was it David, what's his name, and then Amin El Hassan.
Yeah,
they didn't even know through this whole thing. Like, he brought new documentation to the table that day, and it's still, things are still being uncovered. Like, this thing is a lot deeper than what people think.
Oh, it is, and based on circumstantial evidence, which is all they need, I still think the Clippers are cooked. Bryce,
yeah.
Did you see the update?
A little bit about it. I'm personally hoping a lot of different people or situations get burned to the ground because of this. The way Ballmer came out in that ESPN interview, especially with everything that we know now, to come out and to think, I think some of these fucking idiot, like nerdy tech billionaires think that we're all just dumb fucking sheep that will believe anything they shove down our throats. Because for Ballmer to come out and do that interview and to think that he can sway opinion based on some bullshit narratives that he's pushing, and like, it's like the social interactions are off. And these guys, with the way it seems like they grew up, made their money, and who they are now, it's like there's still a disconnect. And no matter how much money or fame, they can't bridge that gap. They can't be a normal person. So they talk to us like they're trying to be a normal person. They don't realize that they're showing their whole cards because nothing feels authentic. I'm tired of these people talking to us like we're idiots. I hope Ballmer gets the book thrown at him. And if he doesn't, I hope Silver gets enough feedback that maybe we can move on from him, because I'd like to see him out of there too. I don't like the way he's been handling situations in the league since he's been there. I don't like the way he talks to the public through the league lens. I don't like any of this shit. I want Ballmer gone. I want the feeling that you can't do this anymore. I want the book thrown at him. I want Silver gone, especially if he tries to belittle how big of an importance this is. Fuck all these people. I'm tired of all this shit. End it. It needs to end with major penalties, and if not, then the owners need to get together and have a real discussion about if Silver needs to be in charge of the league anymore, because I think it's all a disaster. I think it looks bad. I think it's the cherry on top of all this other shit that Silver seems to fuck up with the league. I'm tired of all of it, and I'm tired of people like Steve Ballmer talking to us like we're idiots and like we can't understand what's going on. Get rid of all of them. Burn it to the ground.
Well, that's what happens when you're like, what, the 12th richest man in the whole world? Like, you get to treat people.
Yeah, fuck him, and fuck his Microsoft video from like 20 years ago when he's out there dancing like this. That's the only evidence I need to see. Is like, don't talk to me ever. Don't talk to me, and don't try to spin your narrative to me. You're a billionaire. That's all you care about is your interest, and you're trying to get out of it, and you're not authentic at all. No matter how hard you try to be, no matter how normal you try to act, you're still that fucking nerd who doesn't know how to talk to people and is still on that stage with Bill Gates and the rest of those freaks who don't know how to act in public. Get the hell off my screen. I can't stand them. None of them. They're all, I can't. I'm losing it.
I want to ask B. Rash what do you think about kidnapping presidents?
No, offline. But ladies and gentlemen, hold up, Pat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the real Bryce Ward. Thank you, Bryce. I've been hearing this.
B. Rice.
Thank you, Bryce. Thank you for that, Bryce. Pat.
I don't know how to follow that. What was the original question?
Your opinion on the update for aspirations.
Okay. Thank you. Some interesting things. So apparently there was a relationship between aspirations and the Clippers prior to Kawhi Leonard arriving to the Clippers. Am I recalling that correctly? Yeah. They had a business relationship before then. Them trying to erase their affiliation with aspiration, removing their logo on the bobblehead, like on their website, like a digital. That was crazy. The what do you call that? The redaction.
Yeah.
That's crazy. A lot of this shit is mirroring our political landscape right now. It's fucking crazy, bro. The frustration B. Rice is having with these billionaire people feeding us bullshit and thinking we're going to accept it. A lot of things like I'm glad to see that in you, B. Rice. But that's another story for another day. You made me so proud just now, bro. But aspirations and Kawhi Leonard, this full denial mode. They're doing this in hopes that we will be sheep and that we're dumb enough to believe them. It's business, you know. We would do the same thing if we were doing some dumb shit like that, okay? And we were pieces of shit like that. We would say whatever that would make us look better than we actually look in the moment. So it's par for the course. It's a repetition of history. This is nothing new. That's my favorite saying on this show. When it comes to people like this, Pablo's doing great journalism. What's my boy named El Amin?
Yeah.
Made a point that people are saying that everything's connected, like it's so obvious, it's like too obvious, but it really wasn't. Like this man had to do some serious journalism. It's very extravagant. They tried to hide it the best way they could, but it got exposed. And when you do dirt, eventually it will be exposed. There's no honor amongst thieves. Everybody that's involved has ran their fucking mouth at some point about this. So I agree. I said that Adam Silver is his job is on the line. The way he's handling this, he's not going to talk about that. I don't know who brought it up earlier that he's been missing and they've been quiet about it. Why the fuck would you talk about this if you're trying to keep an image about your league? This is a negative thing. So he's not going to talk about this. They hope you forget about it. That's what they hope. You know, Torre is a thorn in their side. They don't want to, bro. This is, you know, they don't want us talking about it. Him talking. They don't want nobody talking about it. So, you know, it's just par for the course. Having your own opinions and your own free will to think about these things, you know, that's what's needed in a situation like this. So if I'm with B-Raz, burn it all down, bro.
If you're in a position, so I was the one that was saying that he's been out of the loop for a while, because it's important if you're trying to protect an image and it's not something that A, you were aware of, or B, you know, like it's dirty. So like for me, when I'm looking at this, it's important for him to try and protect his image if the NBA itself is innocent in it. That's why he needs to come out and be able to say something, at least some form of an update. But I think the biggest thing in here, like everything was right. It was written on the wall from the beginning. And it's almost like they're forcing Pablo to dig deeper, deeper, and deeper, because he's brought out so much evidence that is just right there in front of your face. If they don't do anything after he brought out the emails that actually said the Clippers were aware, right? If they don't bring anything, if nothing happens after the emails where they were dropping names of who was involved in all this, like at that point, you're just ignoring it. And yeah, now you're into the point where they want us to forget about it. But there's so much evidence, and how many people are actually paying attention to this. It's important all around to be able to try and protect that image, to be able to say, hey, we understand this. This is where we're at. At least say, hey, it's still going through the court process. It's still going through this. We're still doing an investigation. That's all you got to say. He hasn't said a damn thing ever since that initial announcement that he was involved in this now. So at that, you're making yourself look badly by not saying anything to those that are paying attention to this in a deep format.
I think that's the take of someone with a bit of confidence and a spine, though. And what we're dealing with is a bunch of people who want to scapegoat and sweep a problem under the rug. Instead of dealing with it like a man and getting out in front of it, they want to act like it's not there, you know. And you could say even maybe their legal team is behind some of the suggestions on, like, you know, don't talk about, if this is going to be a legal matter, it's like, maybe it's not in your best interest to talk about any of it, period. And I get that. But like you said, from a fan's perspective, or like, this is a business where it's in front of everybody's eyes, you know, a bit of media presence and a bit of an explanation to the people goes a long way. But, you know, there's two different sides to that coin. But so that's how I take it. It's like, we're dealing with a bunch of cowards who just want to get away with whatever it is with the least amount of problems. So we're not getting what we expect to see, because we're not dealing with the people in a way that's in an honest manner. So that's why we're getting this shell game. They're scared, and their legal teams probably like don't talk about it.
Well, it's gonna come up at All-Star Weekend.
Oh, it's gonna come to a point where they have to comment regardless. You know,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
there's no hiding it at this
Yeah.
point.
I can't tell you who, but some reporter is going to ask them about it All-Star Weekend when the league's on showcase, of course. I think they're using the law firm's investigation as a cushion as far as a time frame to where they don't have to talk about it. But I will say, I was impressed that the law firm reached out to Pablo and his team for those documents, because if they would have ignored those documents, then I would have been like, okay, this is a sham investigation. But no, they they asked for them. They got them in November. So I think that law firm is taking this serious, and no matter what the league,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If they decided to not do an investigation, if they just decided to not do anything, not to address us, not to do anything about it,
mm-hmm.
What do you think? How will that affect the NBA? Do you think it will still go on, like business as normal? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, does it really matter what we think about what's going on?
We might lose a few fans, and that would be it. There'd be no real repercussions. If the owners didn't really have a problem with it, they wouldn't give a shit. They wouldn't care. It's going to come down to the owners making a fuss.
I think if I can answer that question a little bit from the business perspective, like if you look at the NBA from this perspective, and nothing happens to the Clippers at all, and they just sweep it under the rug, you're affecting a lot for those. Like, we pay attention to the NBA deeply, right? When you see something like that being swept under the rug, you're losing me immediately, because at that point it's like you're just running a league of chaos. At that point, anybody can do anything, right? There has to be some form of order, because people put money into this thing, right? People buy tickets, they buy jerseys, they pay for subscriptions to these games, and at that point, if you do nothing about it, people are actually wasting money. Now, you're going to have people that are going to be dumb enough to be like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. But if you don't take draft picks away, or if you don't move Kawhi or whatever it may be, take out Ballmer's money and whatnot, like at that point, you're now affecting how the rest of the league landscape goes. And now you're opening the door for just a bunch of craziness to happen, to be swept under the rug from other owners, right? Because other owners are going to look at this and be like, oh, they didn't do anything about it? Okay, cool. We can go do whatever we want then. We can make shady deals. We can do this. We can do that. We can circumvent the cap. And the NBA, you're just running a league of chaos at that point. So
that may be, I think all of that may be true. But I think you're looking at it from a personal perspective, what you would do if they were to sweep it under the rug. I think they understand human nature.
How would you do?
Scandals? I don't know. I really don't know. But I know this. Okay, I'll give you an example. They found out that the refs were cheating on behalf of the Lakers in the early 2000s. You think I give a fuck about that?
You don't, because you're the Lakers fan. You're a Lakers fan.
Exactly.
Right. But if nothing happens to the Clippers and they keep going as is, the Lakers are directly affected because they're in the same conference. So now you're on the other end of that stick. How would you feel as the other end of that stick, where somebody in your division, not only conference, but in your division, gets preferential treatment to cheat?
Well, the Lakers were already affected because they were one of the teams that went to the league initially and said, hey, the Clippers did shady shit to get Kawhi when we wanted him. So the Lakers were already affected by this.
So in that aspect, then, thinking of it from that point of view, your team was directly affected on the negative side. Feel any different?
My point is, you, knowing that information, still watch the NBA. You know there's corruption. You know there's been scandals, but you still are a viewer of the NBA, right? And this is just another one. So what's the difference from this one and previous scandals? the gambling scandal, all of these things.
That's
All of
why
these
I
things, and
said
we're
I
still
think they
friends.
lose a few fans. Like there will be some people that take this such like to heart that they can't watch the sport anymore. But that's all. I mean, to bring up the political climate, people have a very short memory of things that have burned them in the past. You give people a few years, they forget and they come back. Even the few that they lose, I do think I don't think that they can just not do anything and that there's no negative consequence. I just think they weigh those negative consequences and see if
Right.
it's just worth to deal with that in the short term because they lose. They're not going to lose everybody, and then even some of those are probably going to come back eventually. So I don't think they care. That's why I said the pressure to me can't come from the fans unless it's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming that there's
Right.
nothing they can do about it. You're talking like strikes to
Yeah.
games, things like that.
Right.
The
It has
pressure
to
has to
affect
come
their
from the
money.
billionaires, the
Yes,
owners.
it has to affect their pockets. That's the
Yeah.
only way.
And not that it
So
can't. I just don't see enough of it happening because for me, it would have happened with the ref scandal already.
right.
That you bring up a good point. You talk about the not quality, but the integrity of the game. You can't talk about something taking away the integrity more than that. So
The officiate.
if people are willing to overlook that, or at least in time overlook it, then I'm right there with Pat. The pressure can't come from us because we don't do enough. The pressure has to come from the owners. To me,
Well, the owners and also corporate sponsors, right?
yeah, the money,
Sponsors
The money.
the money has to get hurt in a significant way.
Yes.
David Stern performed a master class on defending the league, and I'm not saying it was right, but defending the league during that ref scandal because it was multiple refs, but he was able to pinpoint one referee. But a lot of refs got fired during that time for doing the same thing. Everything you guys said is accurate, 1,000% accurate. My issue is I will hope this is an isolated incident. We know the Clippers are guilty, but we also know other teams have done this too. We know this. Every fucking team in the league has probably done this. It's just never been out like this before. It's never been outed like this.
Pablo's salivating on the mouth to look at Brunson in the neck.
So we're still waiting on that.
So yeah, the league's been crooked for a long time. Sports has been crooked for a long time. We know this. We know this. But we don't want it to come to light. And that's where I hope this is an isolated incident because then we can kind of forgive it and keep moving along. And what I mean by isolated incident is the exposure part of it. Exposure part. That's what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. Now, if it comes out years from now that 2, 3, 4 other teams are now being exposed for the same thing, then at that point, I'm probably going to be like, fuck it, I just can't deal with it. That's just where I'm at. And like Mike said, at that point, it's chaos, right? So I'm not going to.
If the Heat have a good team, Cam ain't checking out.
No, I'll check out.
It'll depend on their standings at the time.
No.
But for every person that checks out, there's going to be somebody to replace you.
Yeah, right. Because that's a cycle. Yeah, that's a generational cycle. That's going to happen, right? But it doesn't negate the fact that every team does it. It's just every team's not caught. So that's where I'm at. So if the NBA, look, we know the Clippers did it. They don't whitewash it. Deal with them, but make sure if you use the Signal app or whatever the fuck you use, let the other team owners know y'all need to clean up y'all shit right now because we cannot have this happen again. That's what has to happen.
People need to stop relying on tech at all for any sort of secrecy because if you still think you can do something online, like through anything, and think it's all right, then you're just as dumb as everybody else because they'll get you one way or another. If you think you're safe, you're not.
The word got to be put out. Y'all better clean up y'all shit because
do your talks in person like it's 50 years ago again if you want something done. If you're going to be doing something shady.
Poor baby. Y'all think the world don't operate like this. This is how the world works, guys.
No one said the world doesn't operate like this.
We have a skewed perspective because this is a sport that we love. So we want the integrity to be as high as possible. Normal business, nobody cares unless you're getting screwed out of your money. No one cares unless it's hitting you in your pockets. This just happens to be something that is wildly popular all over the world. And so the fan base has a say in something like this compared to like the stock price of a company or something. It's, everybody has stakes because everybody's watching it. It's different than it's money, but it's with people's opinions thrown into it as well. So it's a little bit different.
It's an old saying, and I know I'm gonna fuck it up. This old saying, but it's like you can take money from me. I just don't want to know that you're taking money from me. It's a saying similar to that, right? So we know the world's fucked. We know everybody's corrupt. We know that. We just don't want to see it right in our face. you know what I'm saying? Don't play in my face with it, right?
What you saying?
Yeah. So I just it's enough evidence. Again, under the circumstantial evidence, it's enough. They just need to nuke the goddamn team. Remove Barmer. Front office gone. Void Kawhi's contract and remove draft. They just need to do that.
Well, and if I think if any legal team is gonna like work towards something like that, it's gonna be this legal team because it's the same legal team that blew up the Phoenix Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So over Robert Sarver, so they've had history bringing topics like this out. You know what I'm saying? Ones that can affect a whole franchise. Because even the Robert Sarver thing, it leads into Matt Ishbia, which also is a problem because he's got issues going on here too, So it's like the Phoenix Suns front office is not out of the clear even from the Robert Sarver situation. And it was that legal team that helped bring that out. So we'll see. I don't know. I think I'm impressed with the legal team with the way how, as far as being bipartisan, has worked.
I hope that they can find enough to throw a book at the Clippers because on paper it looks like that. But I would say that maybe sometimes the strong political climate can change people's narratives and how they go after things. So with that specific case with Phoenix, the allegations, the type of allegations were different, and so where it's like this is shady. More shady in other ways. The climate at the time may have pushed people to go after people like the Suns owner more because of what he was doing, more than this guy being Ballmer hiding what he's doing on the financial end. Not that they're not both pretty bad. I'm just saying I think sometimes for the sake of looking good in front of the media, it's like this guy did this and he's a real villain. Whereas this other guy is doing all this money moving, and it looks bad, but he's not the villain the same way this other guy was for taking advantage of people. So that's why I wonder if like sometimes these legal teams I think have a narrative of their own that they want to push and an image that they want to push, and sometimes I think that could change based on the allegations or the crime or the person that they're going after in general. So I hope that's not. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying I hope they have the same fervor with this case that they did with the other one because it needs to be taken just as seriously. That's
right.
what.
That's exactly what I'm saying because they've done it once before. I would hope that they would do it again the way that they did. So we'll see what ends up happening. That's what I say. Like if there's any legal team to do it correctly, it probably would be this one. But if not, then hey, now you've got an exposure to us that are watching it closely, where that image of that law firm is a little bit different. You know what I mean? So I hope the same thing, that they do bring out everything the way that they need to.
I'm so proud of you, B. Rice. I see an awakening here. Like you start to see things from the bigger picture as opposed to the specifics. I like that. I like that, bro.
There's a lot of these things I say offline that I don't really say out here. It depends on the topic. You can ask Cam more specifically offline.
I tell you all the time. Be yourself in this podcast. Be yourself.
What's up, B. Rice?
On that note, this is great, fellas. I appreciate y'all. We're going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always respond unless it's Pat being sarcastic. Everyone, stay safe.
That's still a response.
It's still a response.
No Heat All Stars, no Magic All Stars in 2026.
If Franz hadn't gotten hurt, he'd be an all-star easy. There's no way you could tell me otherwise. Franz was on that road. He was going to be
Detroit
fine.
will have 2 All Stars, and the Heat and the Magic will have none. That is crazy. Word.
Mm-hmm.
You done that. You done.
It'll be okay.
Atlanta might have an All Star. Oh, that is
They do.
crazy, bro.
They definitely do. I
All
blame injuries. As usual.